Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, fuck everybody, just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. You always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Baby, let me tell you something. I'm not clearing nothing up. Feel how you want to feel about me and stand on it. Period.
Three places that you can stay for absolutely free. 3 of them. You ain't got to pay a doggone thing. Hear me. Understand that you can stay out my face for free. You can stay out my business for free. And you can stay out my way for free. Those things won't cost you a doggone thing. 3 places you can stay for absolutely free. Thank you.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, good evening. Oops, I forgot to pop this over here. Good evening, folks. I'm not prepared. I'm drinking my coffee. If you guys weren't here for the morning, Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving to all. I did my Thanksgiving last night, but I also celebrated Thanksgiving today because I have a lot of leftovers. It was just me, right? I'm working through the pumpkin pie. I have to be honest with you. I need some help. Would somebody come over here and eat these calories for me, please? Please. It is seasonal. Peppermint mocha is back in stock at a grocer near you. So if you guys like peppermint mocha, go get it while the supplies last. I'm stocking up on the stuff. So Crazy Texan Truth Seeker, happy Thanksgiving to you. Janice. Pit Mom, nice to see you. Kathy S. Jamie Johnson. Paulette, good evening from Savannah, Georgia. Denise. Amy, I was at Thanksgiving dinner today and my mom told me her half-brother's grandson went to the University of Idaho. It is a small world. One of the victims, Amy, followed Olivia, knew who we were, knew who Olivia was. If she knows and follows Olivia, she knows who I am. She knows, the cases. It's a little personal. I have to be honest with you. Superman's grandma. Oh, I love that. Miss Emma is in the house. Happy Thanksgiving, love. Pebbles, happy Thanksgiving. Angie, Crime Alive, Sabrina, nice to see you. Hurst Hill, cool gamer. Clorinda, nice to see you from Australia. Welcome, welcome. To everybody else, happy Thanksgiving. I see Rick's Clicks, Angela. And this is a big shout out for those that don't know. Angela D, which is a person that helps Dolly Vision out. And, many of us have grown to just love. Like, it's just not the same without her, And she's fallen ill. So I hope everybody, says a prayer for her. Angela D, if you are familiar with Dolly Vision, you know who she is. She helps him with a lot, not just orders. I mean, she's a friend of his, a confidant. She comes over here. She supports us, supports this channel, and just a beautiful soul. And, she's still in the hospital this Thanksgiving. And I just want to give a big shout out to her and just have some, I hope she gets better. I hope she gets better and well very, very soon. She's a tough cookie. So I'm sure whatever she is going through, which many of us know, she's got an uphill battle, but she's doing good from what I gather. Where are we? I just moved up. Lori Lowe, Southern Granny Wolf, German Shepherd Mom, nice to see you guys. Texas Angel, Mary Rayner, just an old lady. Wake up. It's nice to see you guys. Maritza, nice to see you. I see you. I see you in here too. Big boy, how you doing? I see you in here. I see you. Yay. Happy Gobble Gobble Day. Jet lag. Let me guess. You're jet lagged? And so everybody else, Misty D, Emma M. It's nice to see you guys in here today. So I just decided I wasn't planning on coming. Oh, we have a new, wake up. Nice. Welcome to the coffee club. I know it's Thanksgiving, so there's, a lot of creators are flying, visiting family around this country, doing their thing, taking their, much needed vacation and holiday off for family and friends. And for some of the creators, we have decided to keep you guys entertained. There's several of us out there that's been keeping you guys entertained throughout the day. Some people just don't even want to talk about the true crime genre. They just want to talk about other stuff. There's nothing really going on here to talk about. Like, I'm boring when it comes to that. Like, all we talk about is true crime. So we're going to be going over some stuff. I've been on the computer today, looking around, watching videos, just getting some different perspectives, which I don't normally do. But for today, I wanted to see what was going on out there. And I found some pretty interesting stuff. I have to be honest with you. We're going to be talking about some of that stuff here shortly. crazy. So happy Thanksgiving, guys. How many of you guys are done with dinner? I mean, are we done with dinner now? Like, is Thanksgiving? Are you guys putting stuff in containers to ship people off? And it's like, get out so we can clean the house. How many people's houses are trashed at this moment? The one good thing about cooking for yourself, even a larger meal, like I didn't really cook, like if you see some of the feasts that I've cooked here, I've cooked 2 birds and a ham and had a party here. And I literally cooked everything from scratch, even down to the honey rolls. I cooked them, everything from scratch. And I tell you what, it's like by the time we sit down to dinner, I'm so exhausted. And it's like by the time dinner is done, I just want people to grab their containers, pack up what they want, and get the hell out of the house. I'm serious. I have to be honest. But this year was nice because I didn't make so much. I mean, outside of the bird, that was really the only thing that was not really single size. You can't really get a turkey that's single size unless you buy a breast or something like that. And I want a turkey. I want a turkey. So salute to you guys. As you guys know, and coffee club fashion, I've got the coffee. I was in the liquor store the other day because my neighbor, he helps out when I'm gone. He's the one that takes care of watches the house, brings in the mail. I was down a few days waiting for the car. By the way, the car's back. Damage not bad at all. I mean, it was under $400. The car sounds good. There's a couple of things that will be coming up, but he told me not to worry about it, that it'll, apparently my compressor on my AC, he said I probably got about another year left on that. And that's probably what all the, there's some other stuff going on in the like vibration wise. So, but that's not, I don't have to worry about that for another year. And who knows, by another year, this car, I may have drove it into the ground by then. So the air conditioning works, right? So we should be thankful for that. But, it's just been crazy. Anyways, we went to the liquor store and I bought him a big bottle of Jameson. That's his favorite liquor. And so I bought myself another bottle of wine. But we're not going to drink a whole bottle of wine tonight. Okay, guys? I know the haters would love to see Bullhorn Betty tie another one on. But this would be a much happier tie one on. When I tied the last one on, we were just finding out some horrible news about Michael Monkey Vaughn. And while that story is very, very sad, that was the night that it kind of just hit me. And, this is Thanksgiving. So I'm kind of, happy, right? We're all happy. We're thankful for something. I'm thankful to have survived the year. Justice for all, right? I'm thankful for surviving a year and not killing someone, right? We have a lot to be thankful for. Bullhorn Betty is not behind bars, and you're not covering the case in which I am the assailant on, right? You wouldn't know. I mean, basically, if it was the haters telling the story, I should be buried under the jail because I am the most dangerous person on YouTube. I'm sorry. I can't even say that with a straight face anymore. I really can't. Yes, bless her. Yes, I know. She's just, it breaks my heart because, you always expect your, these people, especially your friends, your online friends, to bounce back. I mean, we've had some close calls here on this channel. With our friend Emma, there's been, I remember there was, I didn't hear from her and I was starting to get so worried, and it just, I just got so worried. I didn't hear from her, but those things, they happen, right? I mean, for example, Kaylee followed Olivia. One minute she was following Olivia's true crime. The next minute we're covering her. It's a sick, crazy world out there. Casey Glass, nice to see you. Oh, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you, beauty, and keep rocking that true. Seriously praying each night with y'all for finding Quentin is a miracle. We all prayed for rest in peace, Monkey. Yes. And you know what? I'm sorry, guys, but we have huge prayer circles on here. We really do. And especially when Ricky Beavers comes on here and says a blessing for us, like we pray very hard for the victims on here. But that power of prayer is literally amazing. It truly is. We prayed that Michael Monkey Vaughn, we don't know if he's coming home before Christmas, but we definitely have movement, some serious major movement in his case. And we prayed, and it's like almost like the next day or the day after, I think it was almost the next day, we started hearing trucks and things going into this yard. It was like, I don't know how to describe it. I really don't know how to describe it, but I just feel that the power of prayer is real and we can move mountains with it. And it's just, it really is just an amazing thing. And Quentin, yes, that was a miracle. And I don't think we know to the gravity. Like I said, you know, I didn't know to the gravity of how low the possibilities of finding someone in a landfill, because I've only experienced 2 landfill searches for a body, one that was a full-grown adult that was found, and now this child here, which was found. And then we hear about how low the results are, 5% or less in finding that. And that in and of itself is a miracle. So, and then you couple that with, you know, Harmony Montgomery's father, Adam Montgomery, going to jail for her. And finally, she's able to have some justice. We just, especially in the true crime, not even talking about our blessings and the things that we personally have to be thankful for. And we already are racking up quite a list of things that we, you know, are so grateful and thankful for this Thanksgiving. So, and I appreciate you guys all being here. The turkey was so delicious. And Moise, did you try it upside down? I'm telling you, somebody came in here and she's like, oh, I tried it and it's not juice. I'm like, okay, well, if you flipped it upside down and it didn't work, then you're doing something wrong. You know, maybe I need to do a YouTube video on it. But I tell you, it's the best. And the top comes so dark. And you know, you can butter the top and brown it fairly quickly just by increasing the temperature. But mine always comes out so good. And I'm telling you, like literally delicious. But see, the reason why I cook it that way is many people don't know. I cook the rest of the bird down to make like chicken pot pies turkey pot pies and other things that I can make with turkey. But the bird itself, the reason why I do that is I am a white meat eater. I like the white meat, white chicken, white turkey. I'm not a dark meat eater. I don't know why. I think it's because there's just, in my opinion, there's just too many tendons and things in the dark meat. I don't like it, you know? So I like the white meat. And so I can't stand dry white meat. And that seems to always be what dries out the first whenever you're cooking a bird. And I learned a long time ago from, my cousin's a chef, but I don't even know if he cooks his bird upside down or not. But I learned from a chef on TV to turn the bird upside down. Now, I don't put all the seasonings and stuff on it. I mean, I season it a little bit, but I really don't put the last of I use like an olive oil herb rub. And I put it up under the skin, but when I put it in, I put it on the outside of the skin, and then when I flip it up, I take the reserve and put it in and put it back on the top, and then sprinkle some poultry seasoning on it. But anyways, either way, it's delicious. I can't explain it other than that. It's friggin' delicious. And I stuff my bird with root vegetables. I don't put the stuffing in it because it increases the cooking time, but I do fill the hole with, you know, celery, onions, and carrots. So those kind of flip out a little bit as you're flipping it. But for the most part, it's pretty damn good turkey. BHB, there's a 5-year-old missing from Orlando. Let's see this. What is this? November 24th. Let's see what this has to say. For those that are just tuning in, we'll go over this. Thank you, Holly, for updating us on this. This is the little boy right here. Deputy said early Thursday that a missing 5-year-old Aaron Pino has been found dead. Oh my goodness. They found him, unfortunately. Unfortunately, he's been found. Let's just read through here. It's with heavy hearts. We must report that Aaron Pino was found deceased in a body of water not far from his home. We are grieving his loss, and our prayers are with his family. So it sounds like he got out of the home and made his way to a body of water. Oh, that's so sad. Pino went missing around 12:45 from his home on Savannah Landing Circle. Pino's mother, Melissa Stranton, was in tears Wednesday night. Oh, man. Who has autism and is nonverbal. Oh, that's so sad. That's so sad. We should definitely say a prayer for that family that's suffering horribly this Thanksgiving. That is just awful, awful, awful. Let me get through here, see some other stuff, and then we'll. So I want to know, how was your Thanksgiving? I'm going to bring you guys up here in just a second. We're going to open up the panel. Let me get through some. I saw some other super chats. And we'll bring you up here and just see how your Thanksgiving is. And you know what? Why don't we do something a little humbling when you call or come up on panel? Tell us what you're thankful for. What you're thankful for this year. You know, are you thankful for the new job? Are you thankful for seeing family? Or are you thankful for the new love interest in your life? Are you thankful, you know, thank you, Texas Wild One. Nice to see you. Welcome to the coffee club. Now rest, get your beauty sleep, and have a drink on me. God bless you and your family. God bless you, Casey. Thank you. God bless you. Yeah, maybe I'll have a glass of wine after we wrap up. We're definitely not doing it on air, okay? Okay. That happens maybe once or twice a year. That's it. I'm not going to say I'm never doing it again. Thank you, Carla. God bless you. I want to go over here and see this. I can't see the super stickers over on this side. So let me see if I can see it. Hold on. Let's see if I see it. It should be coming to it now. Oh, maybe it didn't. Oh, there it is. Thank you. I love it. Thank you, Carla. That's cute. I love it. I love it. Make turkey soup. Yeah. That's well. I cook it down. So when I cook the turkey down, I split it up so I can do multiple things. I just freeze, you know, the broth and the meat, and I just try to divide it the best I can, and then I can make pot pies later or stuff. Because really, like right now, I've been eating turkey for 2 days. Like I ate it last night when I pulled the bird out of the oven, and of course I ate some today. I ate twice today. Don't tell anybody, right? And then Marissa's got something going on in December, and it's like, you know, right at the holidays when people are stuffing their face, I'm going to be stuffing my. So I got to watch my calorie intake because I'm doing something exciting with Marissa in a few weeks, and want to make sure that I don't have any extra bulges where I shouldn't have bulges. Oh Lord. Yes, he was found in a pond, guys. It's just sad stuff. You know, they're probably, you know, have a lot of stuff going on, as many families do right around this time, trying to get so much stuff going on. It is so easy, you know, to turn your head just for a quick second, and literally, and we were just talking about that yesterday and the day before yesterday, because Dolly Vision, you know, we're all learning that his Walmart is the one that had that mass shooter in it. The manager that kind of lost his stuff and started shooting people. And, you know, I said how precious life is, and how literally things can change in a blink of an eye. And this is the very case that, you know, something just changes in a blink of an eye. And this family went from having a happy, you know, getting excited about Thanksgiving and spending time with the family, to coming to the realization that a loved one, you know, a baby, isn't coming back through that door. That's got to be excruciating. And then the woulda, shoulda, coulda, you know, sets in, the blame sets in. It's just a horrible, horrible, vicious cycle. And I pray for that family. That's awful. I'm thankful that we got all the cancer out of my son's head 2 weeks ago and don't have to take treatment. He has a hole in his head as big as a softball where they took the tumor out. Wow. God bless you, and God bless him. We're definitely praying that he makes a speedy recovery. That's wow. It's amazing what surgeons can do this day and age. It's absolutely amazing. What else do we have? Nice. Very strange. What does it say? Very strange. How come are the ringers off for real now? Does it make sense? And why is she not wearing her regular head covering? Why is she wearing a heat job in the house? Married woman, take it off. What? I have no earthly idea. Whoa. What in the world was that? What in the world was that? Hold on a second. Am I plugged in? I am plugged in. That was a little weird. Must have had a little surge. If I get another surge, I might have to hook up the why is that not? Something happened. Give it just a second. Not sure what just happened. There we go. The other screen just went black. I'm trying to get it back on, but I think it should be. There it goes. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. A little technical difficulty here. I am Team Summer. I agree. Both my boys could swim at a really, Tennessee Shine. That is right. Like we lived in Florida. My dad basically, at 6 months old, just tossed us in the water. It's like, he was in the water with us, but he just tossed us in the water. And if we started choking, he'd pull us up. That's how we learned to swim. I think nowadays they call that child abuse, but back then, there's childhood trauma, right? But on the real note, my parents took swimming. We could swim. I bet you I was probably an underwater swimmer before I could walk well. My parents went to the beach often. They went swimming often. They taught us how to swim at a very young age. They were always, I know the reason why, just like it's the same reason why my dad taught me how to use a gun at a very young age. He wanted to make sure that I didn't get killed, right? He wanted to make sure I knew how to swim in water, that I couldn't drown, just like he taught me about guns so I wouldn't accidentally shoot myself, right? So those are life lessons that only parents should be teaching their children if they so chose. But yes, we here in my family, without a doubt, learned to swim at a very, very young age. And I even told you guys stories about how we walked home from school, and although we were supposed to be in the house and, we weren't supposed to be outside of the house and definitely not be in the pool. My sister and I, when we came in from work, would get out from school, elementary school, by the way, we would go upstairs, get our swimsuits on and go straight in the pool with no adult supervision. Like I'm 5 or 6 years old. And, but we learned very young. I am thankful for my daughter, son, 3 grandchildren, and my niece and her family. I only get to see my niece and her husband. What a surprise and a blessing. Oh, you guys got some good stories. Let me put the link in here. And then I'm going to go over to the other side and start over there. Let's see. If I'm missing something in chat, let me know, because I'm trying to read and everything else, and it just popped up on me. So that means there we go. Let me put this at the top. I just want to hear about you guys. I've got some stuff to cover. We're going to go ahead and cover that now. And it's getting back to the stuff that I watched. So I was actually looking through some information online, and lo and behold, I came across a video from JLR, Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates. I actually put the link in the description of this live as a resource. So if you guys want to watch that video in its entirety, you can. But I actually got some information, or at least led me to a particular article that was posted in the spokesman that he was referring to in that video. And here it is. And it was just bizarre because just the other day, let me give a little bit of background. Hold on. That made no sense. I'm not sure what made no sense. I'm thankful for my children. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Baby Yoda Trucker, nice to see you. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you. Is there anything? I know that you guys are talking. I'm trying to catch it and see if there's anything I can work with or answer. Same here, Betty. That's how It was back when we were growing up. Yeah, I know. I swear, maybe that dude Jake killed her, and that's getting back to this. So I'm going to give you guys some background information. Let me just pull this off real quick, and then we'll go back to it. So if you guys are tuning in, the Idaho 4 is these 20-somethings that were in college. They went to the University of Idaho, and they were living in off-campus housing, which was 3 levels. Each level had two tenants each. So the bottom level tenants, those are considered the surviving victims because they were unharmed when this altercation happened. However, on the second floor where Zaina and Ethan were, they were killed. It appeared that we don't know which victims fought their attacker and which ones didn't. But some of them had defensive wounds on them, so law enforcement states. But Zaina and Ethan were on the second level. On the second level is also the living area, the living room, the kitchen, and then up on the third level is where Maddie and Kaylee resided as well, with Kaylee's dog, which was a Labradoodle. The Labradoodle, from what law enforcement stated, was located inside the residence. The dog was unharmed, for those that are concerned about the dog. There were up front, there were many people eliminated. We're going to go over those just real quick, and then we're going to dovetail into this article that I have up here. So the 2 surviving victims, the ones that I said that were on that first level floor, they have been cleared. The grub truck guy, the one with the white hoodie that appeared to have been walking with the girls from potentially the corner club, he has been cleared. We learned in this case that Kaylee and Maddie from the grub truck took a private vehicle with a private driver to their residence. I don't know if that person was their friend, if they paid them, but we did learn that they were not Uber or Lyft. It was a private driver. That private driver was spoken with from law enforcement, and that private driver has also been cleared. We learned throughout this investigation from law enforcement related to the 911 call, which they have not released, and have not released the identity of any person that spoke to dispatch. And why do I say it that way? Is because we learned that the 911 call was from one of the surviving victims, one of the first level tenants' cell phone. However, it was apparent further down, a few days later, that it was potential that the roommate did not make that 911 call. That was confirmed by law enforcement, that there was multiple people arriving to that property, and multiple people had actually spoke to the 911 dispatch center when the officers arrived and went into the property where they found the 4 victims. So all the 911, the people that spoke to 911, and from what I'm gathering, we'll just say for the 911, I don't know if everybody that was there spoke to 911 dispatch, but the people that did speak to 911 dispatch have been cleared. We heard about a male subject that was called by Kaylee 7 times, and by Maddie's phone 3 times. That subject has been confirmed to be Jack, Kaylee's boyfriend. It appears that she did not speak to him when she called him, and these calls were coming in from, I believe, 2:38 to 2:50, somewhere around in that time frame. I'm not, don't hold me to the fire on the very specific time for those calls, but it was right there before 3 a.m. And that male subject, which was later identified as Jack, Kaylee's boyfriend, has also been cleared. So far, we've learned that law enforcement is looking for a fixed blade knife. What I have a problem with is that fixed blade knife could literally be anything from a steak knife almost up to a sword, right? Or machete, right? That's a fixed blade knife. So I would like more clarification on this whole knife situation. That's really, the problem. But a few days ago, I kept talking about, what we're not talking about. Who are we not looking at? People have been looking into Ethan and Xana, and people have been looking into Kaylee, but we really haven't been hearing a whole lot about the inner circle of Maddie and her boyfriend and her, her connection to this case. And so I brought it up and I kept saying, I feel like we're looking at, they are looking for a specific knife, but the law enforcement hasn't come out and stated that other than fixed blade. It's been everybody else that interviewed some of those store workers that said they were looking for a specific type of fixed blade, like a K-bar type of knife. And then I find out that type of knife is common in that area. So it really, I'm sure if they can find it, it's beneficial. If they can find somebody that purchased it, that's on their list, would even be even bigger. But for the most part, that even just trying to find where that knife originated from is going to be like a needle in a haystack, because one, that knife may not have been recently purchased, and two, that knife is used by a lot of people in that specific area. So what we did find out from law enforcement on the last press conference is that let me just make sure here that they have processed 103 pieces of physical evidence from the crime scene. That is huge. That's a lot of evidence. The more evidence you have, the chances of you getting something to hit go up greatly. 103 pieces of physical evidence from that crime scene is a lot of evidence. I'm just letting you know. In addition to that, they've taken over 4,000 photos, multiple 3D scans. Those 3D scans are amazing. If you haven't had a chance to look into those, I would recommend you do that. It almost freezes the crime scene in time with that 3D imaging. I looked at that 3D imaging many years ago, and it was pretty spectacular then. And I have to think that, fast forwarding to this day and age, it's got to be even better. So that's good news. Let me see if I'm missing anybody here. Ashley Ramos, thank you for the information. Let me find you real quick and see what you have. Turkray, people are two-faced. I don't know who that is, if that's what you're saying. I saw that too. Ashley Ramos, let me get up here. Ricky Beaver was in Cher's chat playing both sides for your information. I don't think he's playing both sides. Ricky Beaver's my friend. He's not into the drama. He's not into the crime scene or the true crime stuff. That's not his gig. He's a musician. He's trying to get CDs sold and t-shirts sold to raise money for a kids ranch. His motivations here on YouTube are much different than many of ours are. Again, even though he monitors and watches it, but yeah, playing both sides, that's just not in his character. He's very kind to everybody, and that's just who he is and why I love him so much. So I understand your concern, but I don't really have those concerns myself, because I know what his motivation is, and I support him 100% in his endeavors when it comes to that children's ranch. When it comes to LE saying we believe this or that person had nothing to do with the murders, it to me is not a definite clear, just my opinion. Many people have that misconception, but once, they don't really, I've talked about it before, because even in our own processing, when we go out, we have people at the top of the list that go to the bottom of the list. They never really come off the list, but there's no reason to think of them. And what I like about this law enforcement is that they've been utmost transparent about this entire case due to the severity of nature. 4 people killed in their home with a knife near, they were all students of the University of Idaho. Idaho, they have to take care of the kids and everything. I think they're trying to get us as much information as possible. But what I am seeing a clear It's pretty clear to me, at least how it's proceeding, is that everybody is being cleared in and around those people, but we never hear. It's like it's almost like they're making the distraction of look over here. So we're not looking at the obvious. And for me, it's like Maddie, we're not looking at Maddie. We're not looking at her boyfriend. We're not looking at this. Well, people are hearing that, and people are starting to dig in to Maddie to give us some kind of clarity on who Jake is. And I was dumbfounded when I ran across Jonathan Lee Rich's Investigates video about this very topic, and about him, and about, guys, listen to this, a stabbing of another individual at his school, his middle school, in 2011. And I'm thinking, like, how many times does one person near and around somebody that's been stabbed? And so I was listening to Jonathan start reading this article, and it's like, wait, I needed to read the article myself. And I was reading it, as he was reading it, but I paused him and started reading the article, and I'm like, this mom, she sounds like, it sounds weird. Like, I'll get to it in just a second, and I want your opinions on it, but it's weird. So I just thought, I'm glad people are starting to look in, under the hood, and starting looking into Maddie, because I just think it's awfully funny that we have Jack and Kaylee's parents came out for Jack, saying, we know he's 2000%, like, we trust him. He was going to be our son-in-law. He was no doubtedly going to be the father of our grandchildren. Like, we trust him. He's part of our family 2000%. Like, this is the family of Kaylee coming out and just backing Jack up. But on the other side, on Maddie's side, we're not hearing that come from Maddie's family. We're not hearing that law enforcement has cleared Jake. We're not hearing all of this information that we heard about Jack, and Jack's in the same circumstances Jake is in. So why isn't Jake being cleared, but Jack is being cleared? Why is Kaylee's parents coming out for Jack, but Maddie's parents aren't coming out for, to say that there's no way Jake did this. He's our family 2000%. So what is that all about? What is that all about? I don't know. Could it be a clue? I don't know. Yeah. Or one of the people in the press conference, the last press conference, even said, well, how do you feel about it being potentially a knife used in the ROTC program? I about fell over. I'm like, holy crap. I didn't even know they had ROTC programs in universities. I was schooled earlier today at the coffee club this morning. The audience was telling me about the ROTC program at some 1,073 universities or something like that, crazy, across this country. I was none the wiser. I learned something. And I thought, wow, that could be a great possibility. A couple of other great perspectives were brought up this morning. I did not know Kaylee had just bought a brand new Range Rover and just got this high-paying job in, I want to say Texas or something. I could be wrong about the state. Don't beat me up on these minor details with the job and the state and stuff like that. But I'm thinking, if there was other people gunning for that job, watching her buy a brand new Range Rover and on the heels of getting a job that most definitely had to have been pretty competitive, might have been enough to throw some unstable college student over the edge where she was targeted. So there are still a lot of possibilities that don't have to do with a boyfriend or anything like that, and could technically be a student. That would explain, and it would explain the targeted nature of this, and the brutality of it. The brutality, the rage, because if some of these kids work in their entire life to get this dream job, and they're this close and they lose it, and sometimes they literally lose it after losing it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that's the case, but it's definitely some great theories that are being talked about right now. But let's look at this article. Again, just a little cray for me. This is about another stabbing, and he read it. I can't pronounce this word, but this is it Corday-Aline school officials? I don't know if I'm saying that properly. I apologize. But a Woodland Middle School 8th grade boy was stabbed in the shoulder, chest, and arm with a pocket knife. And then you roll down here and you see Stringer, which is Jake's mom. And both of her kids were here. But what I find interesting in this article is it doesn't say who the assailant was, but it does say a girl had come out and she was visibly shaken that had seen this altercation and spoke with Stringer. Could that have been her daughter? I don't know. And where was Jake? When did Jake come out of the school? Did he come out of the school? Did he have anything to do? He may not have been the one that committed this altercation, even Jonathan said this could be coincidental in nature. But again, is this it? No, that's a different, we're going to be going over that too. But again, it's just weird. And here's some weird stuff that she said after they left. Like, I'm thinking, if my child was in a school where a stabbing took place, I don't know how. I think I would be one of those parents that were concerned for my children's safety and would demand, the school to tell me how they're going to make sure that this doesn't happen in the future, because I trust my children to go to the school. You would expect those types of concerns being brought up by the parents. And this lady, which is the mother of Jake, basically says, she goes in here, where is it said? It's hard to believe that that was what the girl had said to her. We're, what does it say here? We are pulling together a crisis response team to be available at the school on Monday so we can help. Stacy Schringer, that again, Jake's mother, who has 2 children at Woodland, pulled up to the school just as first responders arrived. Concerned, she went into the school. Police told her and the other visitors it was dangerous for them to be in the school, and they walked out. And then the police locked the door behind them, adding her children were still inside. It was a horrible feeling. She also saw paramedics take the stabbing victim out and indicate that the stabbing victim was alert, so it made them feel better. The students were let out of the school. But here's where it starts getting weird with her statement. And the school district is basically saying that they have a zero tolerance policy on weapons, and they confiscate any weapons that they see. But Stringer went on to say she considers the incident isolated and is not concerned for her children's safety when they return to school on Monday. That she actually thinks that it will be a safer place because everybody would be aware. I just found that to be strange comments after such a weird event that happened at a middle school where a child was literally stabbed 3 times. And she is okay. And then she goes on to say that they were living near 15 minutes away from the Columbine shooting. So, I mean, granted, again, this is speculation. This is almost conspiracy theorist-like, but it is pretty alarming to hear that. So thank you, JLR, for doing that. But I was able to find that article that he was reading online. But damn, right? And now this Jake guy is almost looking a little better and a little better as far as Jennifer, I can't see your face. A little better and a little better as far as, a possibility. Think about how nuts it will be if we came to learn, if we learned that it was him and and Mama was downplaying it. I feel safer. Oh, it's no big deal. It's an isolated incident. It won't happen again. What if? So, I mean, I doubt it's him. This is just a talking point, so to speak. But That's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting, don't you think? Let's see. Is it just me, or do their names sound familiar to Kylie Rodney? Jack even sounds like Jack. Wow. Love Alta. Pretty interesting comparison. No, I don't think I've made that connection. So many of the people out here probably haven't made that connection either, but rightfully so, though, right? I heard there's a rainbow style military knife that they're actually using in one of these student classes. OG Koosh 420. Wow. Okay. Well, that's interesting information. Here, let's see what this says. So Fly Eagles Fly, one of the surviving roommate posted a pic on Instagram at 3:30 a.m. during Eastern Standard Time of murders, but was supposedly asleep and didn't hear anything. Well, I don't know if the surviving roommates were ever indicated as being asleep. Some of the information that I received was they thought a party was going on upstairs, where they didn't necessarily not hear anything. They just equated it to something else because, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you're not thinking that your friends are upstairs being brutally murdered. If you're hearing screams and carrying on, you're thinking that it's most likely them partying or joking around or horse playing, as opposed to being brutally slaughtered. You know, I mean, I can just see it because my sister, if my sister didn't go to college and she wasn't, you know, a recent graduate of the, you know, I think in the last 4 years, maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe she's been out of college. So we went through that whole university and college experience with her. So I kind of understand a little bit about this. Jennifer, you're not connecting the device right. You're going to have to accept the camera and the microphone when you come back in. It should ask you about the camera and the microphone, and you should have to say yes to both of them. Betty, if the perpetrator was there already waiting for them in the spare bedroom, what if, you know, that's a possibility, but if that was the case, I don't know if the perpetrator would have waited there that many hours before committing the crime. I guess it's possible, but you got to remember they arrived home at 11 or at 1:45, so the person would have had to have been in the house before 1 a.m. Because the other tenants came home at 1 a.m. So, you know, you're thinking about 12:30. The murder happened between 3 and 4, I believe, is what law enforcement stated. I can't confirm that 100%, but I'm pretty sure it was. I heard 3 to 4. So you're talking about quite a few hours of standing in one place waiting for the right time. To be honest with you, people have done that before. They have laid in wait for hours on it. Right. I believe that it could happen. Yes. But did it? I don't know. Based upon the vibe I'm getting from law enforcement is not that, I don't believe, but you know, again, who knows? There is a shield on the knife so your hands don't slip. Oh yeah. I did see that, but there is. Okay, I think we got it. Can you show me your camera or show me your face before I bring you up, Jennifer? Poor thing, having a hard time behind there. Okay. No Chain says we need to pray for the mom of the 11-month-old Camille Fraquini. I'm hoping I'm saying that. Or Fraquini, whose dad was released with GPS on his leg, went and kidnapped her, stabbed her, other horrific things on her November 19th. There's so much ugly in this country. I said that a long time ago that quite frankly, you can, no matter where I go in this country, I'll always have a story to cover. No matter where, whatever, no matter what city, no matter what county, no matter what state, there will always be a case to cover. And that's what's so sad. For those that don't know, I'm getting my wings back, right? I'm getting my wings back. So I'm going to be, it's not going to be right away, but Olivia and I have already made accommodations for after the holidays. We're going to be doing a story. Many of you know that this year we're getting out. We're going across the country. We did this for the last year, hitting, several times throughout the year. We go out on cases and look at and report back to them. We're going to be going, and this next case is going to be 100% official capacity. It's not going to be any personal stuff, no protesting, no nothing. There's no need for it. So, but we're going to study a case in probably about another 2 to 3 weeks. So again, if you guys are interested in sponsoring our next trip, sponsoring this upcoming trip, everything we've already paid for all the accommodations. So we'll just, sponsorship, if you feel like you would like to sponsor something, you can use Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, but everything's already done. And we got some, it's kind of crazy because it's sad because our work is of, victims. But true crime, it never stops. So bringing new content from the ground, boots on the ground, is always so much better. We get more information. It's just we get to see it from our own perspective. We're not taking somebody else's opinion, somebody else's reality of the situation, and making it our own. We're making our own. So, it's much better content. It's much better explained. And then just bringing Olivia and nobody can really explain or hit all the great points that need to be hit like Olivia does. I don't know what it is. Like, she is just, she's just good at what she does. She really is. She's good at what she does. And she always brings things down so everybody can literally understand it. Yes, flower power. I did hear that he was laid to rest. So, what else did I have here? I just wanted to look and see if we have any new updates, but I don't believe we do. So the last few updates were clarifying a few things. One of the updates were clarifying the 911 call because we couldn't figure out how this whole unconscious person call happened. And it sounded like the roommate must have been the one that passed out or something, because somebody else used her phone to call 911 for the unconscious person. And or they thought one of the victims was unconscious. I don't understand that still. But they weren't the only person that spoke to dispatch. So that was clarified in one of these recent updates. The other thing is the skinned animal, the skinned dog is not related to this case whatsoever. There was also they were also clarifying that there were animal bones on a property that was wildlife in nature. So those didn't have anything to do with this case either. The dog was okay. They clarified on the dog, and I believe that was all the updates for the Idaho 4, the most recent stuff. So, and they opened up an FBI. One of the recent press releases was they opened the FBI for them to get the digital media. They're still looking for digital media in 4 specific locations in and around that area. We'll go over them. I don't have them up on the map just yet, but we can pull those up here in the near future. I don't need the press conference for Mascow for the last one they did. And I just wanted to give you guys an update. For those that did not have an opportunity to watch my interview with the babysitter for Quentin Simon's, for Quentin Simon, this was Miss Diana. She came on yesterday to give me an interview, to break her silence, to talk a little bit about the case, because everybody's been talking, but she really hasn't. Her focus has been primarily being the voice of Quentin. And now that Quentin, his remains have been found, she wanted to tell her side of the story, and we got to capture that on the Bullhorn Betty channel. And I just want to thank my audience and the members of this channel that kept this so sweet and nice and clean for Miss Diana to come here. While there are some hate channels out there on the streets of YouTube, no surprise, right? That are beating this woman up, that took care of these kids for $15 a day, that did not have a dog in this fight. All she wanted was to bring Quentin Simon home and to bring Quentin Simon home safe. And that she was robbed from, her children were robbed from, because Leilani took this child out and maliciously murdered this 20-month-old child and threw it away like he was garbage. And it took them weeks, almost a month, to find his remains out in the landfill. And it's just despicable. It is absolutely 100% despicable. And then the family turns around and blames this beautiful lady that has done nothing but try to help Quentin and her brothers, or his brothers and sister, his brother and sister, when she was watching them. They had been unattended. There's been multiple times of them being out in the ditches and stuff like that. Miss Diana went and picked them up when she couldn't find the boy's mother. Just awful upbringing for these kids. And this was the only woman that was fighting for them. This is the only one that truly wanted to seek justice for Quentin. And Billy Joe went into her home and took her security and her safety away when she assaulted Diana and her daughter. And Billy Joe has yet to be held accountable for that. It sounds to me from the interview that I had yesterday that Billy Joe that she was going to be looking to press charges against her. But I wanted everybody to get to hear Miss Diana again. If there's a commercial, I will try to mute it. But here we go. Well, hello, Miss Diana. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I'm cooking a bird. I'm having Thanksgiving later today.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Instead of tomorrow. Can you guys hear everything okay? I want to just put a one in the chat. The platform, but I just want to give the audience, there's almost 2,000 people in here. I'm just going to just briefly go through some stages of events and where we are today, if that's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So Quentin Simon disappeared. You were watching Quentin Simon on October 4th.
Absolutely.
And, or was it? Yeah, because it was and you took him home that night to his mother's house.
No, Danny come and got him.
So, okay, so Danny came over to the house, got the kids, and took them over with them. And then sometime on the 5th, you learned that he was missing.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I'm sure. Can you just briefly tell me, were you like just thinking he was around there? You know, had you just gotten out, or did you know that it didn't feel right and something more was going on?
I thought that he got out because he's gotten out several times. I only known of 2, but several times before. So I thought maybe he got out.
Hey, Rebel. Okay. And when you guys went around the neighborhood and didn't find him, then at what point did you go back and ask them if they had called law enforcement?
Around 9 o'clock. I got over there a little before.
Okay, and then you know about the time that they called. From the time that he disappeared to that infamous video where Billy Joe came from her house over to your house in that altercation, how many days after Quentin went missing did that happen?
She come in my house on the 8th.
So 3 days later.
Yep.
And at that point, I would have to think that, you know, I'm just just brainstorming, but I'm thinking at that point, law enforcement had knew something worse had went on. Tell me just explain what the altercation is, because some people may be in here that have not seen that video. Can you just explain what happened?
Yes, and I'm going to go back to that morning, if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely.
She texted me and asked me, did I blame her? And this is all on text, so I'm sure the police have seen this. And I told her, I said, if you would have been home and you would have came home when I told you there was a problem, then I feel like this wouldn't have happened.
Mm-hmm. What problem were you referring to, if you don't mind me asking? If it's too sensitive, then
it's fine. When my best friend was coming over one morning and they were in the ditch, Quentin and Zane was in the ditch. Alone. And my best friend calls me and says, Michelle, them 2 babies are in the ditch down here in front of her house. So my daughter is faster than me, both of them. So they ran out to get them. And Leilani was nowhere around. We knocked on the door. She didn't answer.
Wow. Was she gone, or was she just passed out, or doing God knows what? Was she in the, well, let me ask you this. Was she in the home, or was she away from the home?
She said that she was in the home asleep upstairs. I don't know if she was or not. A little over an hour later, she calls and wants the babies home right then.
Gotcha. And so then, so those were the problems that you were referring to, and you had reached out to Billy Joe and told her of this event that happened.
Numerous of times.
And then, so that was the conversation you had that morning. And then, what transpired to her coming over to your house?
I feel like,
from your understanding,
I feel like when she texted me and asked me, did I blame her, and me telling her that I didn't agree with what she done, staying away, I feel like that she was angry because I didn't agree with her.
Gotcha. And then how long after that text exchange was it that she came over there, like just hell-bent on?
About 3 hours later.
Do you think she was under the influence at that time? Well, maybe I shouldn't ask that. That might be disparaging in nature. Don't answer that. So what was that like? What was she screaming at you? What did she just come in and just pull the door open and just lunge in, or how did this all happen?
Well, we heard my daughter was in the kitchen and we had our screen door open, and it sounded like horses was running. It wasn't just Billy Joe, it was more people that came to my house, but she's the only one that entered. And was
it part of that whole, because when we got there was just a lot of like that Ruth character, her family, they just look at like a lot of rough people.
Yes. That was what it was.
So they were probably right behind her when she was doing all this.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. So she came in and just started screaming in your face, or
accusing me of stealing her grandson.
Wow. And how did that, because you weren't alone in that home, thank God, but you weren't alone in that home, and you guys did have recordings going because we've seen them. So just to let everybody know, we are live. Hello, for all the people coming in, we are live. We are just going through the interview that I had with Miss Diana for those that have not had an opportunity to see it. So yes, we are live, but yes, this is a replay, and then we'll have some conversations after this, just for all of you guys to know. I am here, I'm right here. Who all was in the home with you? I know your daughter is one of them, but was there anybody else in that home?
2 of my daughters.
2 of your daughters. And how did this affect them?
Afterwards, they were both very upset. My youngest daughter is very emotional, and she said, Mama, how could she say that we took Quentin?
Right. So all this was transpiring. How did that make you feel security-wise? Like, you called law enforcement after that, right?
I did.
And what did law enforcement tell you?
Told me that it wasn't a crime, that someone can come in your house, and as long as they don't touch you or take anything out of your house, it was okay.
That's insane to me. How did that make you feel for your security and safety when you heard law enforcement with a badge on his chest tell you that?
I was stunned. I didn't know what to think. I asked him like 3 times. And I said, so I can walk in any of my neighbor's house, just bust in and scream at them and yell at them, and it's okay. And his response was yes.
That's insane. And she actually did damage your house.
She damaged my door.
Because I seen the damage with my own 2 eyes. The door's not sitting right. You have to fight with it. It looked like a pretty expensive, nice door too, not one of those flimsy, just screen door. I mean, it's a nice glass door.
Yes.
What is now? And you rent too. Is your landlord going to hold you responsible for that door? Have you talked to him about that?
Ma'am, we're going to replace the door.
Wow, you're going to replace the door yourself.
Yes,
so we're going to fast forward. Like, this has all happened. This happened before we showed up into town. At the time, Quentin was just a missing boy. We got, at least I pulled up into town on the 11th. I went and picked up Jimmy from the airport at like 9 o'clock in the morning. And when we got out there, it was already a pretty busy road when we arrived on the 12th. But on the 12th, that afternoon, is when a press conference came out where The police chief identified Leilani as the prime suspect in the disappearance and death of her child. When you heard that, how did that make you feel? Because you guys have been watching these kids for at least a little moment.
Yes. And my heart dropped. I felt sick. All I could do was cry. I remember I was on the phone with one of my cousins, and she thought that she called to see if I was okay, and I couldn't even talk to her without screaming and crying. And she told me I need to calm down before I had a heart attack because, you know, people say that I was just a babysitter. And I want to clarify one thing. I do work. My daughter, my fix-me 18-year-old, watched him a lot until I got home from work. She was very close to him as well. So we was all broken so bad. And even though we just watched him, he's a child. And I love him like I do my grandkids and my kid.
Yeah. Not only that, but you got to see him pick up stuff, play with stuff, you know, those, because they're curious at that age. You know, everything's so new. So you get to literally watch him learn stuff right before your eyes. And you have a busy household. I mean, I've been over there, and there's a lot of kids. So I can't imagine you love children. It's obvious.
Children, kids, my grandchildren all the time.
So now, so we heard about that on the 12th. What did you think? You know, when you found out she wasn't getting arrested for the mirror. I mean, we know what all happened out in front there. We're not going to rehash that because I was there. You know, we were there. People probably think we were crazy, which we're not. But what did you think about her not going to jail?
I was very upset, and I was shocked that why wasn't she in jail? Why wouldn't any mother be in jail that hurt their child?
Exactly. So after all of this, now people don't realize you live on, I mean, the backside of your house is on their street. Like they're literally 3 doors down from you on the other side of the road. I mean, this is a very close, like you guys are very, very, very close. You were the babysitter, you came out, you were advocating for Quentin, which, you know, anybody that's a suspect or has done anything, you're probably not their best friend. And there's been a very hostile, I don't know if that's the best word, but I'm going to use that word, correct me if I'm wrong, hostile relationship since this whole incident has transpired. Why don't you tell me what you and your family have been going through since this moment?
People riding by when my grandkids are out here on the weekends and yelling that we're a baby killer. They're
yelling at you that you're.
Yes. Yes.
Were they meaning to turn down that road? Were they meaning to go a little further before they screamed that?
They was coming up the other way.
Oh my.
They was coming up the other way. I don't know what Billy Joe and them has told people, but they have took pictures of my daughters. These people knew when we was in Walmart. People would come up to me, and I knew that they knew her because they would mention her, and I just walked away. You know, it's embarrassing when people come up and say, "Well, why are you lying on Billy Joe? And why are you doing this?" You know, and then at night, especially at night when we're sleeping, I don't know what they'll do to us.
Right. When we were there, I mean, Marissa was, you know, highly upset that we had to leave. I mean, she really was. She was crying because we know that this can't be a comfortable situation for you. All right, give it just a second. Give it just a second, guys, and we'll be back with it. Diane is very nice and cared for Quentin. I have to agree. It's just sad what her and her family have had to go through over this. And I'm surprised that they're saying that to you. And I do know Billy Joe has lied and has manipulated a lot of stuff going through. I mean, let's talk about some of those things. So there was a house key that you purportedly had to their property. That's not true.
That's not true.
And according to some of the text messages I have, even Billy Joe has backtracked on what she says she said.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So tell me about that. I blew up one of the pictures. Now, apparently, some of those marks on Quentin were not. They were shadows.
One of them was the one on his leg.
The one on his leg was the shadow. And now, was that pizza sauce on his face, or was that an earlier bruise?
Spaghetti sauce.
So that one circle. So to clarify, that one circle on his face that I thought was an older bruise was actually some smeared spaghetti sauce.
Yes, ma'am. We was at our church when I took them pictures, and we eat every Wednesday, and he was eating spaghetti.
Gotcha. Must like spaghetti.
Yes.
But the one on his arm was visible.
Mm-hmm.
So that grab mark on his arm, out of all the stuff that I circled, that grab mark on his arm was visible. That really, truly was a bruise. That was not photoshopped. It wasn't, unclean spaghetti sauce. It wasn't a shadow. It was a bruise.
Mm-hmm. Was a bruise.
Yeah, and then let me see. I'm going to go through here. Do you mind if I just go through here and read these texts?
No, you can read.
So we've got some text messages here. I'm going to go ahead and just bring them up on the panel here. And this is a conversation that you had with Billy Joe. I know there's a lot of people on here that are using a cell phone, so I'm going to read these. Please don't mind. I'm not. Let me put my glasses on. Let's say I don't even have my glasses on. Let me put my glasses on, make sure I can read this. It says, so this is from Billy Joe. She says, hey, I'm not sure how to ask this or if this is going to raise more problems, but do you have the original picture of Quentin that has that's been doctored up with bruises? You didn't do anything to that photo, did you?
No, ma'am.
So it didn't go to like Photoshop. I mean, what you saw is what you got. It's just that some of those markings are explained by the shadowing, the angle of the phone, eating the spaghetti sauce and stuff like that. So those weren't doctored up. It was just, that was the photo. Right. Okay, the photo was taken at your house, and just so you know, it makes me and you look horrible. So she's trying to bring you into this, like, this makes us look bad because we didn't tell anybody that this stuff was going on, but you really did. Yes. But you told her.
I told her, and a lot of people don't understand, the day that Defects was involved, the day that they was in the ditch, 3 neighbors, I don't know them, but they said they lived in the area, rode by and said, we have called Defects so many times. These babies, even before you started keeping them, have been in the road by themselves.
Yeah, we heard that when we were out there too, because they haven't lived in that house. Let me just put this in perspective. They've only been in that house for a year or two, and you've lived in your home for what, 5 years?
4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
So they're kind of new to the community in all respects. Mm-hmm. So did they live in that community before? Did you know of them before they moved into that house? Or
her husband lives in this community, and his family are very well. That's how I even met Billy Joe and them, through Tommy's sister. They're very wonderful. They're wonderful people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then it says we both look like horrible people. We both know these babies were not abused. Do you agree with that? Because I gotta say, if you want to, I have to say, from the neighbors and from other people that I spoke to, this was a common theme. It wasn't that these kids weren't abused.
Yes, I do agree that they were. Okay, let me say this.
They weren't beaten every day, but
they wasn't beaten. I didn't see bruises until them 2 on Quentin. Never seen none on Zane since I kept them. But I've learned later of all the problems. I didn't know Billy Joe and them. I didn't know what the neighbors had seen or didn't see, because I work every day, so I'm not here. So I didn't see them out in the road, but that one time. So were they neglected? Absolutely, they were neglected. They would come to my house dirty with no diapers. And Leilani didn't care. Danny now, after he had Sky, it seemed like he did a whole turnaround. Mm-hmm. He would call me and say, okay, Miss Michelle, what do you need for the kids? Do you need diapers? Do you need milk? Because I've had to call him for milk from work for Danny to come bring me milk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, yeah, that does make sense. And not only that, but there was a babysitter prior to Quentin and Sky that I personally spoke with that describe the exact same thing. Child coming over there dirty, no diapers, no formula, no milk, no nothing. So this is a common theme because that was with Zane, and that's her oldest, and that was when he was a baby. So that's before all these kids. So I find it ironic that you don't personally know the other babysitter, and you both have almost you guys are almost parroting each other with the condition these kids were coming to the house in.
Yes,
It says here, I've heard you over and over try to make people hear it, and just like me, when I try to speak, it's twisted really, really bad. But right now, they're the ones twisting a lot of the stuff that you're saying. It's not other people. It's Camp Billy Joe. Is that my understanding?
absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm praying for our family. This is... I also understand how hard it's going to be in public places. I'm sorry y'all are experiencing that too. But they're the ones causing that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So and you've literally done nothing. I mean, you just watched this kid, and when you knew something was wrong, you knew who was responsible for it, and you can't help that. I mean, you're basically the messenger that's getting slaughtered out here because you knew what happened. Well, you didn't really know what happened, but you knew something bad happened, and you knew who the culprit was, and you were advocating for Quentin as much as you can because when I went there, I was surprised because I was there over a week after this incident occurred, and there was not one missing person flyer in that entire community from that household.
Can I say one thing?
Mm-hmm.
The day that but right before she had come to my house, that night, the night before, I had told her, I said, me and a lot of people want to pray for Quentin that he is safe and he's returned safe when we thought he was missing. And I said, me and my daughters are going to get flyers made and go put them everywhere. Her response to me was, that is not your family, not your child, and you will not put flyers out.
Wow. So they didn't even want help. Like, this is all happening. You would think a family would be grieving, would be wanting any community support to help locate their missing loved one, and she told you no.
Absolutely.
Was that a red flag to you?
It was. I didn't understand it because I know I talked to my mom about it, and if that was my mom, her grandchildren, or my child, or my grandchildren, I would beg everyone to help me find my child or my grandchild.
Oh, absolutely. Because I've met parents. I mean, Brandy Neal, we just came back from Fruitland, Idaho for this case, and she didn't even know how to take me because, I've got a bad rap on the streets of YouTube. But she still met with me, and she still handed me a box of flyers to help.
Yes, absolutely.
She was desperate for any help.
Yes.
She didn't care where it came from. So she's going in here. It seems like she's trying to, and again, get you on her side. It seems very manipulative in nature. I know you're hurting, and I wasn't spreading lies about you. Now the things I said about Leilani, this is from you. But before that, she's like, I'd like you to be here with our family to lay Quentin to rest. But she just made sure that when you were trying to help, that you weren't part of the family, and she wanted nothing to do with you. And you're still being kind to her and saying, I know you're hurting, and I wasn't spreading lies about you. Now, the things I said about Leilani was the truth, and things me or my daughter seen. So you're telling her, look, we've seen these things. You haven't been around to see this stuff. I'm not lying. My daughter's not lying. We're not lying about you or your family. We're telling the truth. And you're right. I know it's hard being a mother and trying to know what to do about the situation. Leilani is your daughter, and you will love her. So you're even talking to her as a parent. And Quentin is your grandson. I know this has to be tearing you apart. I'm praying for you. And yes, I'll send the pictures. Just stop talking about our family. People are making threats, praying for Quentin, justice for Quentin. I never lied on you or Leilani. I just told what I saw when you were out of town. And so you're just explaining to her this stuff. And it says, I agree praying was not bad people either, but from Cher, she has made us look bad. And it's all lies. But and I gotta acknowledge that, you know, Cher did not make things. I mean, we went down there for a purpose and not for avocation of our personal channels. You have to protect Zane and Sky. I have to protect my girls from evil people. But we are still praying for Quentin and family. And she's writing saying, Cher's been my shoulder. Everyone has hate in their hearts and doesn't know any of the facts. But it'll all come out soon. When it does, people are going to look foolish. I can promise that much. I will never look foolish because I didn't do anything, is what you said.
Yes.
And, you know, and the reality is none of us did anything. The only people that she should be mad at is her daughter and the people that allowed this abuse to happen inside that home.
Yes.
You know, including herself.
Yes.
And it also says, there is just so much I can't talk about. I'm done with going live. I ended up deep in my feelings. I chat and I listen, but that's it. I don't want this drama in my life of media. It's all fake, even the news. So she's acknowledging that, you know, even the news out there is fake. Now, what she's putting on for Cher might be fake. I don't know, you know, but it's not here. And she continues to go on. This was what we were dealing with. I promise I've never threatened you or your family or anyone. That is untrue because we watched her come in your home and scream at you and threaten you. What kind of threats are you getting currently other than people screaming by, telling you you're baby killers? I mean, you guys have been threatened. There was also something going around that they're trying to raise money to move you out of the community.
Yeah, that is sad. See, Billy Joe says in them texts that she has never caused me trouble. Then you go on, I think it was either Queen Bee or Cher, and say that send me a lot of money so I can move. I don't want to move out of my home. I don't want my kids to move. We've been here for 4 years. This is our home, and we have a lot of good neighbors around here.
Mm-hmm.
And never had any problems.
Right, until this. Like, they moved in a year and a half ago, and then you have all these problems that have just infiltrated that quiet street that you once knew and loved.
Yes.
Yeah. And she's also, she is, let me ask you this. How does it make you feel that she's trying to raise money to have you move out, but she has done literally nothing to raise a cent for Quentin's funeral or funeral expenses?
Well, it's sad, and it shows the type of person she is. How do you care about your grandchild, but you're still starting drama with my family?
Right.
You're not, it seems like she's not doing anything for her grandson.
I don't think in my opinion, that's been my biggest complaint from the very beginning, because there were no flyers. You know, we did have signs come out there that said justice for Quentin, and she violently ripped those out of the ground and then tried to take them and use them as hers. Like, they literally did absolutely zero for this child to help bring him home and help bring him home safely. And then everybody that did try, that fought like hell, like you, I mean, you came under immense scrutiny. You've had your whole entire life torn apart. People have plastered your personal information across YouTube, all because you watched this kid, loved this kid, and wanted the best for this kid, and
Absolutely.
fought for this kid when he disappeared.
Absolutely.
Do you have a picture of him the same day that way we can prove? So she's actually asking you for stuff that she wants to use as evidence to help her daughter that's what I'm reading here.
Right. And I honestly thought in the first text that she texted me that she was going to tell me something, because she said she was so broken. I thought she was going to tell me, you know, what happened to Quentin, or that she knew, or Leilani told her. So I was trying to be as sensitive as I could, but I am a sensitive person now. I believe that you have to treat people the way you want to be treated. And I have a big heart. So even though I was angry with Billy Joe for coming in here, I still am not the type of person just to be mean to somebody. I just can't do that. And that's because of God. 10 years ago, I gave my life to God, and I've changed my whole life.
My awakening, my change in my life was about 10 years ago too. You know, I struggled there for the first few years, but then I got it.
Yeah.
We all come from our walk. That's what makes us unique. It's what gives us our life experience. It really does. We don't know why we're taught those lessons we're taught, or why we have to walk the path we walk, but we learn the reason one day. The light bulb clicks, and it's like, this is why I had to walk down that dark path. But yes, and with everything that's going, and that's what I said, I prefaced with when I came on, is, that this is what it seemed like when I was looking at this conversation. Even though all these bad things have happened to you from this woman, it seems to me that you're just a kind person, and as long as she's speaking to you well, you're going to speak to her well. And at the end of the day, this has always been about Quentin to you. This has never been about a personal or petty issue. This has been about Quentin.
Yes, and I'm going to pray for my worst enemy. I'm going to pray for them, because that's what we're supposed to do as human beings. We might definitely not agree with what they're doing, but we have to pray for one another.
Mm-hmm. And I say I pray for my enemies even more so than I pray for my friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and this is no different. So it says, no, I'm not in trouble. I'm not going to jail. I'm fighting to just breathe right now. I'm hurt more than anyone and want nothing but justice for Quentin and my family together. Well, she can't have both. I mean,
Right.
Unfortunately, that's just not going to happen. There's nothing that made me believe this would have happened. I beg to differ on that, but I'm sure you have done all the what ifs just like we have. I'm not protecting Leilani like everyone believes. Trust me, I wish I would have been home too. The would have never happened. I don't believe any of us seen this coming. I believe if any of us had, we would have changed things. But that's not necessarily true either, because we did hear from the community saying that they've seen these children, out unattended. We've seen photos of them with having goose eggs on their head, and this was in all reality a preventable issue.
Yes.
She wasn't listening. It seems to be more than this came out of the blue and nobody knew about it.
Right. I feel like that she didn't. Billy Joe, the 3 times that I met her only, one time was in my house when the boys were here, and she got here early. She loved the boys. I never seen her abuse the boys. I seen her love them, but your love has to go farther than coming once every 3 months, bringing them a toy, and then leaving them with a mother that you already know is not fit. I didn't know that. I did not know at first that Billy Joe had custody. I didn't learn that till way later. And I wasn't told why she had custody. She just said, when she called me and asked me, this was a thing. Can you keep them, and I will pay y'all $300 a week, you and your daughter, when they was outside. Then she calls me back and says, I talked to Leilani, and there's no perfect mother, Michelle. She got angry with me. She said, and you're not a perfect mother either. She said, so I'm going to let Leilani keep them. The only time you will babysit them is when she is at work.
But that wasn't the case. You were watching them even when she was not at work.
Yes, she would be hiding. We would be leaving to take the kids to eat when I was off, and she would run in. But now they did get them at night. I didn't have them all the time because Leilani told her mom that wasn't going to happen. But Billy Joe did ask me, but then Billy.
I just wanted to say hi to all the people coming into the chat. This was pre-recorded. You guys are watching this. This is not currently happening live. If you guys want to say hi, hello all. We'll be talking about this just shortly. Stay tuned. This is the interview where Diana breaks her silence.
Joe sided with Leilani and said she has to learn responsibility to take care of her kids. We'll have them when she's at work.
And you said, is it common for Billy Joe to be gone for 3 months at a time for her job?
Since I've known her, like I said, I've only met her 3 times. I just knew that she was a welder, but she was gone a lot.
Okay, so now was her and Tom gone a lot, or is she gone and Tom does something else? And for whatever reason, when I first heard of it, I thought her and Tom both did the same thing and both left for for weeks on end, but you know, I saw him in his truck and it didn't look like maybe he did the same job as her. So I was just a little curious about that, just for my own curiosity.
When I first met them, I think they went out together, and then something changed where she went to another job, I think making more money. So she went separate way, and then he went his way to work.
Gotcha. Let me see what else here. And you're just saying, yeah, I praying we're not bad people either. You guys are far from being bad people. I was debating if I should text back or not, but here it goes. I'm praying for Quentin every day, all day. We love Quentin, praying to God he's okay. Yes, I have the pictures. That particular picture is shadow on him and the way he was sitting. This was never about anyone but Quentin. The way you have talked about me and my girls is horrible. So you're explaining yourself on here. You're kind of standing up and saying, you know, you did do this, you know, and even though she says that she never did this stuff, you're still addressing the stuff that she did do. The way you have talked about me and my girls is horrible. I would have never do that to anyone, and share is evil. I pray Quentin finds peace soon, and I pray you as sincere as I can. It's always been justice for Quentin. And shadows, and then she says, I don't think, and I don't know what was this paper that she sent you? She said, I don't think they were. He's so perfect. I just want to love him. But she writes here with Leilani every day. Maybe I just, hold on. Okay, I skipped that. I think I got a couple of the same screenshots in here is what it is.
Well, the paper that you're asking me about is a picture of a paper that she sent me, saying that I wasn't the only one getting threats, that Leilani and her was getting threats, and supposedly somebody maybe sent that to her, I'm thinking, or dropped it off at her house.
Yeah. Which it's unfortunate. But, I mean, at the end of the day, when you hurt a child, you got to expect that. But that's not the case with you. You've loved and taken care of. I mean, when we were out there, whether you agreed with what we were doing or not, you always made sure if we needed to use a restroom, we could use a restroom. You provided drinks as somebody. You prayed with us when we needed extra prayer. You made us delicious turkey sandwiches, by the way. Those things were good. Like I don't know if I was just hungry or they were really that good, but I can tell you they were really that good.
But thank you.
And hot chocolate and stuff like you know. You're just a kind soul, in my opinion, and you were just trying to help. I mean, you had no idea when this child disappeared that he was. Oh my God, this is so hard. Lying in a landfill.
No, I had no idea, and I couldn't even wrap my head around that. Even when they said she did it, I just couldn't wrap my hand around. That is your twin. Y'all look so much alike. How could you hurt your baby?
Yeah. One of the things that I found, and you don't have to, make sure I'm not doing, you don't have to respond to it, but one of the things that I found when I came in there, at least from several people, is that she just never really connected to this child. Was that your understanding or not your understanding? And again, if it's too sensitive, don't worry about answering it.
No, it was. Actually, she didn't tell me. She told my daughter that she never bonded with Quentin, that her and Zane had been through everything with her. But her and Quentin never bonded, is what she told my daughter. And my daughter asked me, she said, Mama, she said, you bonded with all 6 of us kids, right? And
before we answer that question, guys, I see that there are some, comments going back and forth. And while they're not that bad, I can see that they're starting to get a little heated. So let's make sure that we don't, inflame anything here. We all are entitled to our opinions. It makes for great debate. And I don't mind you guys debating respectfully, but if for any reason, you guys should just agree to disagree, and, let's not, be badgering to one another. We're all just trying to figure things out ourselves. So, just try to keep the chat respectful. And like I said, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't bad enough to remove comments or anything like that, but I do see some heated conversations going back. I just don't want those to get too overheated is all.
I said, yeah, why? She says, well, Leilani said today, because I was at work, that she didn't bond with Quentin. She bonded with Zane, but she didn't bond with Quentin.
Yeah, I've never understood that because I don't have children of my own, but I have grandkids, you know, I have a stepdaughter, and it's like, I love them, and I would never want anything to happen. I didn't have to have them come out of my body to bond with them. You know, they're kids, they're growing, they love life. You know, it's our responsibility to protect them, not even just our kids. If we're around other children and we see them in danger, us as parents, step parents and otherwise, you know, we have the duty to protect that child.
Absolutely.
So I watched your TikTok, and I know you meant no harm, but if there's a name can't say of the media, I will have to change their names for safety. And at Zane's age, that would be another hard thing. So she's even talking about. She actually says that she's getting these kids back in these things.
Yeah, she said she was getting the kids back.
And so she's already talking about changing the kids' names because of this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you? I don't think you could. I don't know if you could answer. I guess you'd be speculating. Do you think the courts in your community would give these kids back to her?
I don't know. But I would hope not. Only
because I heard both the grandparents for these kids, Zane and Sky, were going to be seeking custody for these children.
Well, good. Good.
I mean, that's just what I heard back at the very beginning when all this stuff was transpiring, especially when Leilani was named, and everything kind of happened really quickly. Like, she was named on the 12th. They removed the kids from the home on the 12th. Like, all this stuff on the 12th happened. It was very quickly. And then we started hearing that, Danny ran off and he went to his parents. His parents and him were trying to get custody of Sky. You know, I had some paperwork leaked from the Youngkin camp to me with the information about Billy Joe. You know, they cited that Billy Joe was supposed to protect these kids and failed to do so. And as a result, they have opted to remove these children from the home. I mean, it just seems to me that it would be hard to get a child back after you've put them in harm's way. Do you know anything about that?
I haven't heard anything about that, but I really hope that they don't get them.
Yeah, I really hope they don't get them either. Did you know? I mean, it wasn't until this case and Quentin, went missing. Did you know that her other son was also in jail for murder?
I did not until all this come out. Like I said, I didn't know the family. I just knew her husband's side of the family. I didn't know Billy Joe and them.
Right. What were your thoughts when you found that revelation that Quentin was named after his uncle that is in jail for murder?
It was, I can't tell you the feelings that I've had about this case and about all this. It's just been really heartbreaking and horrible.
Right. So, are you going, let me ask you this. Are you going to go to his funeral and stand side by side with Billy Joe and her family?
No, ma'am. I am going to pray for Quentin, continue. I got so many pictures made of him. I told you I'm going to put him up where my grandkids and my kids are. He will never be forgotten. I'm actually going to make him a plate for Thanksgiving of his favorite food. It's not weird. It's because he loved food. And when he was here, he had 3 favorite foods of mine that he loved. And we're going to do a balloon let go very soon for him.
If you let me know, I'm happy to sponsor the balloons and the helium. If you let me know what balloons you want, I'll order them and send them to you.
Okay, yeah, we do want to do that, but I will not go to the funeral. I have to forgive her because I'm a Christian, but I will never stand beside her after she's had people threaten my kids, lie on us, and accuse me of stealing her grandson. I would never go.
Especially when she had to have known early on that her daughter was responsible. We all knew early on that her daughter was responsible. So she either was trying to throw law enforcement off at that point to protect her daughter, or she was just fully in denial. And I just don't, honestly, I believe from her past. She's been doing everything she's doing to help her daughter not face accountability or responsibility for what she did to this child. That's just my personal opinion.
Yes, I agree.
Is there, we're going over, so there's that letter. Oh, so that's the threatening letter. And it says, this is what we're dealing with. I promise I've never threatened you or your family, but that's not true. We've seen her do that. No, I'm told you knew where the outside key was. Oh, this is where she acknowledges that she knew you didn't have a key. Yeah. Even though she went on and said that you had a key to her house. Right. And she said, no, I told them you knew where the outside key is just in case you needed something for the kids. Michelle, YouTubers have made you and me evil people. No, first of all, she's trying to incorporate herself in with you. No, Billy Joe, we think you're evil. We've never really thought Miss Diana, and you go by Michelle as well, is evil. I mean, from the very beginning, I've said you are you could just tell just your demeanor and your mannerism that you are a very sweet, loving person. So she keeps trying to incorporate you in with her, and I don't think that. They take everything out of context. I've had to over and over remind myself they want a show. As long as you or myself go on YouTube, Facebook, or TikTok, we will continue to have problems. But you haven't been going on all of these social media places. I mean, you'll tell a story or an event and leave it that. You'll show the candlelight vigil, but you're not going on there and getting into the pits and the gutters like Billy Joe has been doing. Like Billy Joe has been going on Queen Bee. Billy Joe has been going on Cher's channel. Billy Joe has been talking and everything, while you have been in the back being silent. And what would you like to say? Like that, as long as you or myself go on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok, we will continue to have problems. But she's been the only one driving that bus.
Yes. When I get on TikTok, and I do TikTok because I cook and I love, one day I want to open my own restaurant. I always have, but I've been doing TikTok for a while, and I put my cooking videos on, and people ask me about Quentin, and I will answer a little bit, and then I'll say, well, I didn't get on here to talk about this, I'll change the subject, but people want to know. And I said after Quentin was found that I would talk, because I've been sitting back letting her say just whatever she wants and a lot of lies.
I'm so emotional. I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm disgusted. I'm sad. I'm every emotion in one. I can't even give how I feel a name. No one wants the truth in the media. They only want the drama. When the YouTubers were at our house, they tried to get you to say things. I never approached you, did I? I never asked you for an interview.
And that's what I said. I said, Dolly, Betty, and Molly, they never asked me. Molly come over here and she prayed with me, and she grabbed my hands and she started praying, and I thought that was so awesome, because that's what we needed to do, was pray.
Yeah.
Y'all never ever have you asked me to do anything.
No, and it was because we knew you were going through a lot. We wanted to support you, and we never came there. I mean, to be honest with you, the only person that was talking to YouTubers was Billy Joe and her family.
Yes, absolutely.
So she keeps going on, a media life, it's all fake, even the news. I have to agree, your news is I don't like your news. And it says, and honestly, the only reason I listen is because I want to hear people talk about Quentin. I want to hear his name. Well, she could just say his name, because the whole time we were out there, it was like pulling teeth to even have her say Quentin's name. And for Leilani to say his name, man, she got a sourpuss look on her face every time. Like her mother had, when they stole the signs and they were sitting in the front of the yard, her mother had to look over there and said, and tell her, say justice for Quentin. Like Leilani wouldn't even do that. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. So she's completely broken. I believe that she's completely broken, but I hate the fact that she keeps constantly referring like we were so blindsided by this. No, you were not you, but she was in complete denial as to what was going on, And because she was in complete denial, this is the situation we are left with.
Yes.
Well, it just felt like you wasn't saying, hey, their Nana loves them. So she was wanting you to advocate for her, so she looked like the stellar grandmother, even though she was never around.
And that's what one of her friends told me. She's mad at you because you have not been over there supporting her and advocating for her. Well, this was not about her. It was about her grandchild.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem. That's what YouTubers, that's why we don't like people like that, because when you take and start talking about yourself, like you're missing a 20-month-old child. We don't care how uncomfortable you are. Are you kidding me? I don't care if she's uncomfortable.
Right.
You know, are you know where the 20-month-old is, and then we'll let you be comfortable. When you don't know where a 20-month-old child that you're responsible for, you don't know where their location is. I don't care if we're driving you up a wall or you're comfortable in your house, or if somebody's coming to your defense or not coming to your defense. Get your butt up and go look for your grandkid.
Absolutely.
That is just insane. So I'm not in trouble. I'm not going to jail. Okay, so that's where she's saying she's not going to be going to jail, and it is sad to me, because I really truly believe that if she had not lied to the courts and she told the courts, look, I can't take care of these kids. I'm not home to take care of these kids. I travel, out of state. I'm gone for weeks on end. They would have taken those kids and put them in foster care or whatever other remedy to make sure those kids were okay. But because Billy Joe went to court and took responsibility for those kids, the courts gave that to her. And because of that, this child is dead.
Absolutely. I agree.
There was the altercation. And again, if I'm going to ask, but if you don't want to answer, you don't have to. Okay. Are you going to press charges?
I am.
Yes, you are.
I am. I have found out that it's only a misdemeanor, and I wasn't going to press charges. I had told my mom before the incident the other day with YouTube and her being on it. I said, you know what? I'm going to let it go. I said, because right now she is getting beat up. Like, she's going to beat herself up because of her daughter and what she did to her grandchild. So I'm going to let it go. But then when I seen what she was saying about making me move out the neighborhood and I was the problem, I was like, you know what? I tried to pray for her. I tried to let things go. She's just not going to stop. So I'm going to do what I have to do.
Right. And there have been threats. She's telling you she's not threatening you, but when you go on to multiple other stations and YouTube channels, you're hearing her threatening you.
Absolutely.
So it's not that she's not threatening you. It's just that she's not texting you the threats that she's levying across upon you. She's just saying it on other channels. But either way, a threat is a threat.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
So what have you guys contemplated on doing? Are you planning on staying and trying to, because I have a funny feeling with their lack of jobs and, not going to work. She hasn't been to work for quite some time. She's obviously the breadwinner there, or at least makes some pretty decent money to have all that stuff. Do you think that they will be moving on or moving out of that community, or are you going to try to move out of that community? Are you going to try to live in peace? Like what?
I'm going to try to live in peace and stay here. My job is right down the road. My church is here. I've been there 10 years. I have a lot of friends out here. So no, I don't want to move. Okay. I just want her to leave me alone. We don't mess with them.
Yeah.
I've got to where I don't even like going that way. I'll go around Chatham Parkway. So I don't have to.
Because now that I realized that you can go through there, I was going around Chatham the whole time I was there. And I'm like, what's going through? Because all those cars, and that's another thing about these kids being in that ditch. Those cars go by us fast.
Absolutely.
And a child can jump out in a car just like that and just be.
Yep.
It's just, it's crazy.
Yes.
But when I went down that way, I love that way. You couldn't, I wouldn't come any other way but that way after I realized where it went and went to 17. And like literally, you can get to everywhere from 17.
Yes, you can.
So. Is there anything else that you want to say? I just want to tell you thank you so much for letting us kind of dig into your side. I know this is uncomfortable. This is very personal for you. And but you've been getting a lot of heat, and you've just been sitting by and taking it and taking it. So this is your opportunity. You know, is there any final words that you want to say to Billy Joe, to people that are harassing you, to other people, other channels? Is there anything that you would just like to say? And then we'll before we close with you, I'd like you to pray. Please.
Okay. I would just like to say to Billy Joe, this is about your grandchild. Just leave us alone. Just like, if you're going to stay there, stay there. We don't bother you. I still pray for you. And I will continue to pray for you. And I just want people to know that we didn't lie. We didn't, some certain things come from my daughter, and we didn't add to it, but my daughter had said things that she's seen, and I didn't want to put her name out there for her safety. So never was there any lies. Never was there nothing added that I added to it. Things were added, but it was from my daughter.
Yeah. And I actually spoke with your daughter. We never, even some of the information, we've never brought your daughter in or up in any respect. Your daughter is sweet. You know, she lost Quentin too, and she's young. You know, she's just now having to deal with probably one of the most painful parts in her life. You know, I'm sure there's going to be many more painful things, you know, as we grow up and we have life, you know, but this is very painful for a young teenager, you know, young lady to have to experience, especially with somebody so sweet and tiny, in the heinous nature of the whole situation.
Well, did you see what they said when we had the vigil about my daughter?
No.
That she was crying when they were playing a song of Quentin, and they said that she was too attached to him, that something didn't look right about my daughter loving Quentin like that. And I just thought, you know, how in the world could you say that about a 16-year-old that loves a baby? Why would you?
It's just, you know what? The problem is they don't understand what love is. Oh, sorry guys, hold on. Let me pull it back. Forget about those. There's no way to turn the music off. Sorry guys. Sorry. But that's the is it gonna go to, okay, here we go. Love is that's I think that's the problem. And for me stepping foot in that community, I already knew this is a classic case. I said it from almost the 12th on. This is a classic case of an abused child becoming the abuser, because Leilani was abused by her mother, and she's now perpetrated that abuse on her own children. And I truly believe it. You know, I travel this country, and this is the first experience that I've had where a woman has not just raised one murderer, but has raised two. If that doesn't tell you who Billy Joe is, I really don't know what will.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say God bless you. I know I'm not one that I love prayer, so I'm going to have you lead the prayer if you don't mind. I just want to tell you before we do, thank you so much. God bless you. And if you choose, I'm just going to throw this out there, if you choose that things are getting too toxic, too hostile there, let me know, and I will get a few of the creators, and we will do a fundraiser to help get you guys some money to move out if you choose. I know that's your home. 4 years is a long time. Trust me, the reason why I stay in this piece of crap is because I hate moving. I have entirely too much crap to move. I'm far too busy, far too lazy to want to move a house. I will probably die in this house. I could literally have $1 in my account or $1 million in my account, and I'll probably still be living right here. So, but if you do change your mind, let us help you. You know, we would love to help you.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes. So go, if you'd like to pray, I think we could all use it right now.
Father God, we come to you in your sweet holy name, and you know everything that is going on in everyone's life, and you know the situation with Billy Joe, Quentin, and Leilani, God, and no, none of us are perfect. I surely am not perfect, but I just pray that you intervene in the situation, God. I pray that your will be done in the situation. We trust you. We believe in you. I have faith, God. And I just pray that you go with each and every one of us today, God, and you let us remember that the next day is not promised, and let's love one another and be good to one another. to the best of our ability. And I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Diana. I appreciate your time. If you ever want to come back here, if anything comes up, you've got my cell phone number. So please reach out to me if you ever need anything. We're here. I truly believe that at least whenever he was in your care, we knew he was taken care of and he was loved unconditionally. And he was not being hurt. He was not having to see drugs. He was actually able just to be a little boy. And I want to thank you for that.
Thank you very much, and God bless you.
God bless you. God bless you. Bye. All right. So for those that didn't get an opportunity to watch that interview that I did yesterday with Diana, the babysitter, she broke her silence. We covered a lot of different things on that interview. I really tried to kind of touch on little things leading up to where we are today. And, just bless her. She has been under so much stress and strain, just trying to advocate for this precious boy that met his untimely death at the hands of his mother. And the grandmother is still, now I don't know, as of yesterday, today's a new day, but as of yesterday was still causing problems for for Diana. It's absolutely unnecessary. The only people that Billy Joe should be upset with, angry with, upset with is herself and her daughter and anybody else that knew. She should be thankful that Diana was there for her and her family to watch those kids, because I guarantee there is no way there would have been anybody that watched two children for $15 a day. There's no way. There is literally no way. So not only did this child just have to go straight across the street, this child was well taken care of when in the custody of Diana and her family. And so Billy Joe is mad at them for advocating for them, which caused the spotlight to shine on that family, which caused us to dig up everything about every person in that home. That's what happens when you have a 20-month-old that disappears. Okay, we are going to dig in. Not just me, but everybody across the streets of YouTube dug into this case, and we made sure that Quentin's face and name was out there. I was going to be damned if this child was not going to be known or heard of and be just another name on the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I was going to be damned for that. And I'm glad we did what we did. We brought a lot of exposure, because if we would have left it to the media out there, nobody would have heard of this case, let alone having Court TV come there. So we brought in national news to that story. That was done by the work that we did. And at the end of the day, did we apply pressure? We definitely applied pressure. Did it result in anything? I don't know. I really don't. I do believe that the Quentin's voice was heard, which was number one. I believe it pushed them to work 10 times harder out there in the landfill, because they had to bring this boy home, and they brought this boy home in unthinkable circumstances with only 5% possibility of finding him. That is the power of prayer. That is the power of the work that we do. Law enforcement knew we were going to be coming back if she wasn't arrested. Law enforcement knew that it was ticking down before, because I was coming back with all anticipation of being working in my professional capacity, and still knowing that I would be arrested, and I was still going to go back, and still am going to go back, because we're not done with this case yet. We're not done with it. So just some information. I do have, is it still at the top of this? Yes, I do have StreamYard pinned at the top of this. If you guys want to come up, if you want to talk about this, if you want to talk about the Idaho 4, Michael Vaughn, we have I believe, a press conference related to him on Monday, possibly. Maybe it's Friday. I can't remember. But at any rate, that's really it, guys. for me, I wanted to tell you guys happy Thanksgiving. I know we're talking about true crime stuff, but that's what binds us together. I mean, we are an army. We are an army for victims. Anyone should feel privileged to have Diana in their life. Absolutely. I'm very thankful I met her. I really am. And not only that, but I'm thankful for the wonderful people that we met in Savannah that still go by to check on her, right? That still go by to check on her just to make sure she's okay, just to say hi, just to let them know that we're here. We still support the family. It is amazing. It is amazing. I'm still a little concerned because we know Billie Joe is a violent woman. We see her past history. We saw that video of her ripping the door off of Diana's house and going in there and screaming at her and assaulting her in her own home. She lost the her privacy and her safety when that happened. And then to have, to make it 10 times worse, a law enforcement, somebody with a badge telling you that it was okay for somebody to do that to you. And so it's just, it was just really, really, really sad, guys. It really was. But we're thankful that Quentin had that beautiful soul in his life. We're very thankful for that. We're thankful that Quentin Simon, he was brought, he got out of the landfill. That is not going to be his final resting place. And for that, I am truly, truly thankful for. I'm truly thankful for the law enforcement partners and resources that brought this little boy home, because to be honest with you, I wanted Leilani in jail, but I wanted Quentin out of that landfill more than I wanted Leilani in jail. I will be honest with you. We've got both. So with that, that's something that I am very thankful for this Thanksgiving. I'm also thankful on another note. What is Bullhorn Betty thankful for this year? I'm thankful for the success of this channel. I am thankful for each and every one of you that come here every day and support this channel and support each other. Like, we have gone through some pretty emotional stuff. A lot of our audience has had a lot of pain in their life. Oh, Jackie, thank you. God bless you. God bless you. But, a lot of our audience have had some of the things that we talk about here on an everyday basis has happened to them. And, we have helped support them and in their pain. And I listen to them. I mean, there's been times that we've been emotional. I mean, Connie lost her son just a few months ago. We had Paula talking about, her child. It's in many people that have had their grandchildren, similar situations with their grandchildren that are in this chat room right now. One of our favorite and beloved mods lost her husband. Olivia lost her father. We all have pain, pain of loss. But we all have things to be thankful for, and we embrace each other, and we support each other, and we help each other, and we aspire to do better, and we aspire to help our communities and help these victims. Those are things that I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that even though my roof blew off my house, now shingles, I want to make sure people are clear. The wood did not come off. I still have felt paper up there, and I still have wood. But the shingles are gone. But I'm still thankful that I'm missing shingles instead of my life. But we have so much to be thankful for. And if I made a list, I guarantee my list of being thankful will surely outweigh 100 times over of the list of things that I'm not thankful for or I'm upset about. I guarantee if I made a list right now, the things I would be thankful for would be forever long, and the things that I'm not would be very short. And I hope everybody out there has that same experience. Many of you guys know I suffer from, seasonal depression, and I'm sure it has a lot to do with the fact that I don't really have that good of relationship with my father that I once did, and holidays are harder for me. But I can tell you that I'm thankful that this year has been probably the less of all the years I've had. So I'm thankful for that as well. And I'm thankful that I'm here on Thanksgiving Day to chat and hang out with each and every one of you. So I know we've been going over 2 hours. I know there's other people that are going to be coming on to the streets of YouTube to talk to you about cases, talk to you about Thanksgiving. But I just wanted to make sure that I got on here and told each and every one of you a personal happy Thanksgiving from Bullhorn Betty, the Bullhorn Betty channel, our beautiful chat, our beautiful mods that manage our chat and make it a nice experience for you. I'm very thankful for each and every one of them. Most of the people that mod for this channel, I have personally met. And that I am very thankful for, because those are friends to the end, and all of you. So I want you guys to have an amazing rest of your evening with your family and friends. If you so wish, as soon as I get off here, I'm going to have a glass of wine. So if you guys would like to have a glass of wine with me, as soon as we roll this down, I will be having my glass of wine. So have yourself a Thanksgiving drink with Bullhorn Betty. I'm not doing it live. We learned the lesson. Nor am I going to drink past one glass of wine, but we are going to have a glass of wine together. So you guys have an amazing evening. God bless you. We'll be back here tomorrow morning for the coffee club, bright and early, guys. And we will be discussing more into the Idaho 5, more into all the active cases we are talking about. And we are going to get updated on the Summer Wells case. So I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. God bless each and every one of you. Go rock it out and have a rest of an amazing, happy Thanksgiving. Good day.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.